Coming up on Tech Edge, it's word games. Hi, I'm Guy Trainin.
And I'm Allison. Hi.
And this is Tech Edge.
And today we are talking about word games. And the first one that we're going to talk about is called Boggle. Okay. It's called Boggle Free, and it is just like the game, where usually you put the box and you shake it, but you play this one on your iPad. This one is actually one of my favorites. Okay. So we'll show this one. The next one that we're going to talk about is Words with Friends.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And Words with Friends is incredibly popular. It's a Scrabble-like game. It has some twists. And we're really presenting all of these because they are great ways to get kids to interact with words, to know what words are real or not, to think about spelling a little bit. So there's quite a bit you can do with this, and kids can have fun, and they can do it in their spare time.
Absolutely. And the last one that I'm going to share is Textureopolis. And this one is kind of like the Boggle game, but you create words with a word bank. And the more words you create, the more cities you unlock. So it's a pretty fun one. This one is probably for a higher age, though. It's a little more complicated than some of the others.
And we're going to briefly introduce Skywords because it's another take on the Scrabble principle, and it allows a little bit more creativity. It's a little bit different, similar enough. It's just an option. And last, we're going to talk a little bit about the classic, which is Scrabble, and you can get a portion of it free, and you can get it also as a paid app. So
let's take a look. So you can see that I have Boggle Free pulled up here. And when you pull up the screen, you can select from the menu. And I went ahead and selected Quick Play. And when it comes up, it gives you the directions to shake the board. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. And you can see that when you shake it, it randomizes the letters to where you start building your words. You have to have at least 3 letters in order to build a word. So let's see, I can do sit.
And so you drag your finger.
You drag your finger.
Okay.
You can go sideways. Let's see here. So you can see that it really gets kids thinking about the letters that they see, the combinations. And you can do larger words, you can do smaller words. So the age range on this is pretty wide.
And one of the things that you can do if you do this in class and you want kids to think further, you want them to stop and then talk about what strategies they're using. So at one point or another, you do want to make the strategies what you talk about. So for example, yes, I can use sit, but can I use the same word to create a longer words, let's say cedar? And that's an opportunity to talk about the doubling of the consonant in the middle. Things like that really can enhance the way kids understand spelling and how language works. So you can talk about the long vowel E and how important E's are in the words, etc.
Absolutely. Something that I do like is that it times you, but it also keeps track of all the words you found. So when the student's done, they can even bring it back to the teacher or the parent and show what they've done for you.
And what happens if you try the same word again? Oop. Makes a sound.
Yep, makes a sound, won't let you do it. So pretty fun game. This is Boggle Free.
Can you have multiple players in this one?
Yes, you can have
excellent.
multiple players. So here's where you can choose your number of players.
Okay.
So if you have a
Up
group
to 4 players.
that you want to play with, maybe a small group, you can do that as well.
Excellent.
And you can start the game. So this is Boggle Free.
This is Words with Friends, and Words with Friends, most people play it online through Facebook or Twitter. You see that the board is very similar to a Scrabble board, but the design is a little bit different, which makes the scoring considerably different because you can actually hit multiple multipliers when you make a word, which makes for a very interesting game. You get your letters on the bottom, you make a word here. I don't know if I have a good word. Let's say you make your word, you submit it, you get your points, and then the second player will get their turn. And you get the screen in the middle so they can't see each other's letters. You continue. This is very exciting. If you look at other games, This is a game you play with somebody else. It looks exactly the same. It sends them a notice when you've played, so games can be played over short periods of time or long periods of time. There's no limit. And the other thing is you get a history of the games you played and the ones you won and lost, so you can actually have your classroom interact with each other and have a record of those games.
The next thing that I have pulled up here is called Textureopolis, and you can see that when it comes up, pretty basic screen. We'll just go ahead and select play. You can see that I've already started a game, so I'm going to go back to mine. When it comes up, you'll see that you have a list of cities. These are the cities that I have unlocked, the ones that are bolded. And you can see that you can keep this game going for quite some time. It's got quite a few cities that I can unlock. So,
and what does it mean that there's a city?
Well, and I'll show you that. So we'll select, and you can see that I've already found 19 out of the 95 words that you can make with Kingston. So as you select more words, you can see that I've built 2 buildings already. And so as you create the words, it gives you points. Those points go into buildings. So
you go, do you stretch? Or?
Nope, you actually select. So we'll go back.
So you do something like this.
And then you hit submit.
You've probably found that.
Nope. And as you do it, something that I really like is that it gives you the definition up above it. So you can see that as he did this, it didn't come up with a submit, so I've already done that one.
Is there a time element with this game, or
There
is it
isn't.
just how many you get?
It's just looking at the words, building them. And this is very simple. You can't select how many players, it's just building the words, so it could be teamwork, but very simple, very easy to use. So the next thing that I have pulled up here is called Skywards. And you can see the board looks pretty similar to Scrabble. You can see that you have the bank of words, and you play it just the same. You can put your words in, and then you select play, and this one will go back and forth. So, and it will tell you if you have an invalid word, which I really like. So you can move them around. If it doesn't work, it'll let you know. You can recall them.
And what's special about Skywards that's different than the other ones?
The special thing about Skywards is that you can build on top of the other words. So if I wanted to replace your L, I could put a word over the top of it. So if you just wanted to see that, you can see that you can move it around and put it on top of things, which is nice because in Scrabble you have to work with what you have.
So it's very similar, it's just an added quirk. This is available for free as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. This is Scrabble, and I'm going to show it really, really quickly. What I like about this is Scrabble has a single player mode, so you can play against a computer at different levels. You can play a random opponent, you can play with friends online, or you can have local multiplayer, just like we saw in Words with Friends. And again, in the classroom, local multiplayer might be your best choice, or a single player. I'll show you just a single player, just so you get to see. I'm choosing an easy one. And here we go. This is my first group of words. This is a classic Scrabble board, and you put the words very simply. It zooms in, so you wouldn't have to do it. And
it's nice that you can select the level, especially if
Yes.
you're working with younger children.
But this is a classic Scrabble game. Kids can, again, think about words and how they're built. Great for the classroom if you have some time, or as a recommendation for parents as they work with kids at home and they want things that both engage and challenge kids. So we talked about some word games, which can be really fun. It's not a way for a full lesson, but it's definitely a way to get kids thinking about certain structures within words. And
even
morphemes, graphemes, and all of that.
They can even connect within the classroom. They can play each other while they're at home, which is nice too.
Yeah, and again, in class, at home, during a break, if you're having one of those winters where you can't go out and you want the kids to play something, here's another option that they can use devices and still play things that are meaningful academically. So
thanks for watching today as we covered word games.
See you next time on Tech Edge.